back to the channel. Food. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for videos like this.
I was told that there's been 300 instances of attempted nuclear war. 300 times in the last 70 years, somebody has pushed a button or triggered a suitcase of nuclear weapon. And every single time that has been disarmed by something. It's possible that space and time are not linear, and it's possible that our future selves are among us, stopping the nuclear war that we started and wiped out humanity with. So we are either protecting ourselves from this event, or we are surrounded by many other intelligence that are protecting us because we are special in our capacity to feel so uniquely for our distance from nature.
What is that?
Yo, look at this pothole.
I know I ain't tripping. I can't be tripping. No.
And who's still looking at the Red Bull?
Your number 12 combo.
Why does it says $147? Why does it say that?
What drink would you like for your number 12 combo?
Bro, what the give me a team member. What the
She rode them tires bald.
This is the Mandela effect. When we grew up, these pizzas were circular, and it was Tostinos with an S right here. It's missing. The whole S is gone, fam. You ain't telling me nothing. This is from another timeline. I'm not from here, bro.
Tell me why I just got home to my apartment and the stairs are missing. I live up here and the stairs are gone.
The Star of David, where does that symbol come from?
It's never written explicitly in the Bible itself.
Is it in the Talmud? Perhaps. So you're not really sure exactly where that comes from?
No. You got me.
Is it nobody knows,
Yeah,
huh?
I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
I believe that what they call the Star of David is actually the Star of Remphan. Because when you study the Bible, you'll see that when they worshiped other gods, the Bible talks about them carrying the banner of the star of their god Remphan.
Now, who is this star god? If they only read the Old Testament, they would know this. In Amos, God said, you have taken up the star, and you've made me furious by doing that. And you have actually sacrificed your own children to the star god. They sacrificed their own children, the Jews did, to the star god.
When they worshiped a false god, they had the Star of Remphan as an icon and as a symbol. We never see a Star of David in Scripture, but the star of the false god Remphan.
I saw dolphins in the back of me, so I'm trying to look through my photos, right, and I see that I know that's a dolphin because I saw them behind me. There's me. And then I look over to the side because I'm trying to see the dolphin, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? Like, seriously, what in the hell? The hell is in the water next to me as I know there's a dolphin right there. Dolphin? Mermaid? What the?
I'm looking for part 2. She basically explained it was no other surfers or people behind her. It was just the dolphins because she swam out enough to get a photo with them. So she knows for a fact that was something else and not a human or a dolphin. What do you think?
What is going on? Put this thing on the...
And Uncle is not having it.
Kids graduate from university. Incidentally, the word graduate comes from two words: gradually indoctrinate. So consequently, when you graduate, you come out with a square mortarboard. The mortarboard is a symbol of masonry. This is why you go to college to get a degree. Consequently, you need to understand that all universities and colleges in the Western world operate under the Vatican. All universities and colleges. So if you want to save your money to send your kids to college, just remember you're sending them to a Jesuit, Catholic-dominated ancient Roman Empire system, whereby your children are to gradually be indoctrinated into a system of religion, politics, and theology. As far back as the 4th, 5th, and 6th century, we know that the escapades of the popes, many of them were homosexuals, most of them were murderers. They were all offsprings of bankers. The entire Vatican system was a banking system. Today's Uniform Commercial Codes based on the old Vatican canon law. So once you understand the church, government, politics are all interconnected, and the secret societies have been manipulating them all from day one.
You've been lied to your whole life.
Donald Trump is the last president. He's showing us that we are the currency. We don't need the system. All this shit was an illusion.
You know why? Because Donald Trump is actually a Luciferian white hat. In a Luciferian white hat, they don't take sides. They play both sides, meaning that he's basically neutral. He is also Agent 47. He's the 47th president, and he was actually the 45th president. When you look at the numerical sequence of 45 and 47, you get 9/11. So that means that the next tower moment that we're going to have is going to happen on Donald Trump's watch, because he's also a Gemini. You got Gemini and Uranus all the way up into the year of 2033. Then you have Saturn right now retrograde, which is the embodiment of karmic retribution. We're going to see a 9/11 event in the future. It's going to happen. But you actually got 4 Donald Trumps. The real one is inside Chennai Mountain in the deep underground military bunker systems.
So he got clones. Well, everybody got clones in the industry, huh?
Yep. He is using the restoration process as a catalyst for the next revolution. He's not doing it because he wants to. He's doing it because he has to. Because Donald Trump is controlled by tall whites. And the tall whites are actually the Pleiadians. And Pleiadians, they're giving him access through the Intergalactic Confederation to cause the restoration process of the Republic. So that's why in the year of 2020, he signed the Second Declaration of Independence. They know that we're in the last sun cycle, so that means that you have to give everything right back to the Republic, because the Republic is for the people, and the people is the chosen people of the land, who are actually the indigenous Native American people who come from the Olmecs, the ancient Atlanteans, the Mayans, the ancient Kemites. That's all us. He has to give the keys back to the rightful owners of the planet.
This man is scared he will never die. Ismail Azizi from Tanzania has reportedly been declared medically dead by doctors on 6 separate occasions, but has come back to life every single time, and no one can explain how. In a recent documentary by Afromax, they report that the first time he died was after a workplace accident. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and soon after, doctors declared him dead, not some randoms off the street. His body was taken to the morgue while his family started preparing his funeral. But to their bewilderment, he regained consciousness and walked out of the morgue onto the street like he was taking a nap. And that was only round 1. He died again after catching malaria, but this time he made it all the way to the coffin before yet again waking up at his own funeral. Now this became a literal cycle for years. Death 3 was after a car accident where he collided with a fuel tank and put him in a coma. But like clockwork at this point, after being pronounced dead by medical professionals again, he woke up. And at this point, even the doctors were getting freaked out. Death 4 was after he got bit by a venomous snake, but this time he spent a whopping 3 days in the morgue. And that really convinced his family that Ishmael was gone for good this time. But no, because when they went to go retrieve his body for his 4th funeral, he woke up again. Now, after his 5th death, he fell into a toilet pit. His community started getting a little scared, and they became convinced beyond reasonable doubt that he was a witch or a ghost. So you know what they decided to do? Burn his house down with him inside to try and kill him for the 6th and final time. And guess what? They were successful until he woke up again. Bro, I'd be scared too. I couldn't die. And now, after all of this, he has to live in an isolated old house with no neighbors, because apparently he's a bit of a local legend and people are too scared to live near him. He also said he can't get a job either as a result of the stigma.
Either God still has a plan for him, or you gotta question the doctors.
Okay, here's a wild thought. In quantum physics, there's this thing called the observer effect. It basically means that particles don't act the same when somebody's watching. Just observing something literally changes it. Go research the double slit experiment if you don't believe me. Now apply that to the paranormal. What if ghosts, UFOs, and synchronicities show up because we're looking for them? Some physicists think that our consciousness is actually shaping our reality. Like we're not just imagining it, we're actually co-creating it. Now, I know this sounds out there, but honestly, what isn't out there anymore? So the question is, are we experiencing the paranormal, or are we helping make it real? So is it real, or is it quantum?
春情撞浪火辣辣，今晚他来到你的家，我来找你。
Do they do weddings?
The people in Hollywood believe that Sabrina Carpenter is this deity.
Whoa!
Yeah. She's a pop star, ex-Disney childhood star. Her aunt is Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson. She's super famous for being a Scientologist. But the more and more I look into it, the stranger and stranger it gets. I find a photo of her wearing a shirt, and the shirt says, "Awake, arise, or be forever fallen." This phrase is the first quote that Lucifer says in Paradise Lost. Her first ever album is titled Eyes Wide Open. Okay, that's obviously reverential to Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
It's like a super direct parallel. Now, Feather, at the beginning of the video, has the title, and the font is the same exact font from Rosemary's Baby. Well, at the very end of Eyes Wide Shut, the daughter of Tom Cruise's character, she walks over to this bassinet, and she looks at it, and she says,
I could put Sabrina in here.
Mind you, the bassinet is the movie poster for Rosemary's Baby.
Wow.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Eric, open your mic.
Yeah.
Former CEO of Dole, dead June 9th, 2025. Founder of Leprino Foods, dead June 19th, 2025. Leonard Lauder, CEO, billionaire philanthropist, dead June 14th, 2025. Frederick Smith, former CEO of FedEx, dead June 21st, 2025. Billionaire Burton Tansky, dead March 16th, 2025. Billionaire Robert Shapiro, dead May 2nd, 2025. Former CEO of Hasbro, Alan Hassenfield, dead July 8th, 2025. Blackstone executive Wesley LePatner, 43 years old, dead July 2025. Junior Bridgman, billionaire, dead March 11th, 2025. Joshua Pickles, DoorDash executive, dead June 21st, 2025. Milestone CEO, dead June 2025. Jim Irsay, dead May 21st, 2025. He was the CEO and owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
Coincidence or a cleanup? think that's mine?
This artwork that was found in Jeffrey Epstein's house is incredibly disturbing. So this was actually in Epstein's mansion in New York City, and as you can see, this is a sculpture of a bronze bride hanging by a rope. All this is coming from the New York Times, and immediately when I viewed this sculpture, I was just overcome with a sense of dread. Clearly you can see that she does not look happy, and she almost looks like she's trying to escape something. Also inside of the mansion, Epstein had photos of he and Ghislaine with Pope John Paul II, Mick Jagger, Elon Musk, Fidel Castro, Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines, President Bill Clinton, which, let me just tell you, this picture is so eerie. And even a signed dollar bill gifted to Epstein by Bill Gates. Now, there were also photos of Epstein with Saudi officials like Mohammed bin Salman. And in the office, Epstein had a green first edition of Lolita, the 1955 novel, in which an intellectual develops a sexual obsession with a 12-year-old girl and repeatedly rapes her. Epstein also had a stuffed tiger. And in the upstairs bedrooms and bathrooms and areas like that, as you can see here, there were security surveillance cameras in the bedroom and in another room, which obviously provides evidence for the blackmail thing. I mean, you can clearly see these cameras mounted in rooms that in a normal house would not be there.
¿Qué fue eso?
Michael Jackson's son had a party. Now, people are saying Michael Jackson was actually there in disguise, bro. Look at this. But it's so obvious. This shit is obvious. Michael Jackson, he was known for being allergic to the sun because of his skin.
Okay, so he's like
so
vampire.
he's always wearing like long sleeves or stuff to cover himself.
Yeah.
So you can see here. See, he has an umbrella, always wearing sunglasses, always covering his skin. Now his son and I think his manager, they had a big like yacht party.
Okay.
Now there's somebody on the boat that looks very suspicious.
Oh,
because
hell nah.
it's the only person that's wearing full covered. And look at his face and look at the choice of attire.
Bro,
so people are saying this is Michael Jackson after another plastic surgery to change his identity.
Oh, no.
And he's hiding and he's still chilling with his son in public.
That's not
alive.
just like the boat owner?
Nah, fam.
No
That's what
way.
the theory is, at least. That's what the theory is.
With all the money he had, I won't be surprised.
The new thing is the psyop with the term black pill. Have you heard that? Oh, you're black pilled.
Well, it was red pilled and then you couldn't
So
say
here are
it.
the pills in the order that I think it goes.
Okay.
Blue pill, red pill, black pill, white pill.
Blue pill is what everyone takes every day.
Is the people who believe the official narrative.
Let's say normies.
Still watching MSNBC and CNN.
Okay. The red pill are people, I think, like me, that have done some digging.
Yes,
Okay.
done some research. Understand there's an alternative story that we're not told.
Black pill is deeper than the red pill.
Black pill is this, they're doing it no matter what. There's nothing, it's happening there. And to a point, depending on how black the black pill is, there's no hope. You're like, it's doing
Nothing
it.
can stop. Yeah, like AI is going to wash over everything. We can't stop it.
We can't stop
Okay, I'm with that too. Go
and
ahead.
then the white pill, you want to make change, you got to change within. It's God, it's God, connection with human being, vibrations, high vibrations, low vibrations. If you want to change the world, you got to change yourself. And by changing yourself, you show people how to beat the system. And that is the white pill.
What are you on that pill now?
I'm on the white pill. I'm crushing white pill.
When the third part of the angels of God fell in Revelation 12:4, and including Genesis 6, Enoch 6, Jude 6, they were called Gregories, the fallen angels. Before they were called Nephilims, they were called the Gregories. And this is where we get the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, but Nephilims were offsprings of fallen angels and women.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. But they came as Gregories, which became Nephilims because of the offspring through the daughters of men. And matter of fact, in Genesis 6, it talks about that term, daughters of men. They were looking for a particular DNA. They were looking for a DNA because these fallen angels wanted to redesign creation to be a species. So God never designed you and I to be a species. God never designed you and I to be human. Now, that term human, according to the Ballantyne's Black's Law Dictionary, it's right. It means sea monster.
Sea monster.
And so the term human means sea monster. God did not design you and I to be sea monsters or a multi-head type of creature, the Kraken. God did not design us to be a fetus, because the term fetus means an animalistic cargo. It's these words that have been attached to creation that has brought curses. So the Gregories were the ones who gave the 13-month calendar to mankind through the daughters of men out of the 3 volumes of Enoch.
Oh, hey, dude. You're all good. Hey, you're going to have to get out of the car, sir. No, wait.
Get him out, lying down.
He's thrashing his car.
The car. He's thrashing the car.
I don't want anyone to get injured or more hurt.
All right.
The ghost of an old coal miner.
Wait, so it's the mold that dehydrates us?
Oh my gosh, do you want 30 seconds on that?
Yes.
The primary mold toxin in coffee that survives roasting and brewing is called ochratoxin A. It is a toxin that attacks your bladder and your kidneys. So when your body detects that you just drank this, it freaks out, it dehydrates your tissues to dilute the toxin, and you know this. You ever drink coffee and then you have to pee 20 minutes later and your bladder's not full?
Yes.
Why did you have to pee without a full bladder? Because there's toxins in your pee and your body's like, get it out of here. This stuff causes cancer.
Oh my God, I have chills all the way down my body.
This is why it works.
The Jesuits own all the abattoirs because they want people eating flesh, rotting corpses, because they want corpses called persons, which means corporations. That's what they want. And how they do that is by giving us corpses to eat. There was no culture in history that was carnivore of humans. None. There's cultures now that are cannibal. Not even those cannibals were cannibals. That was all done through witchcraft and through the control of this technology from Atlantis that the Iranians have, which is subletted to Rome, City of London, and DC.
So Iran is running the Vatican. The Vatican doesn't want them to do it anymore.
No, they don't run it. They pull the strings. They've got some power over Rome. Their demon is more powerful than Rome's demon. It is of a higher order. They've been able to summon a higher power than what Rome has. But Rome was set up by them, and they don't mind because they are all franchises.
The Catholic churches are franchised. They're like, why do we need a standing army when we can just put these churches, which are little home offices for the Vatican?
The world ocean, think of it as a giant lake with all of the continents as islands.
I can roll with this now.
The shoreline of our world is Antarctica. The foundation of Antarctica is higher than any other continent. Everything that you know is a lie. The United Nations map, Flat Earth map, International Maritime Organization, Flat Earth map, World Meteorological Organization, Flat Earth map, International Civil Aviation Organization. These are the things that control the world. Why do they all have flat Earth maps? What about this?
Whoa.
This makes sense. What if we lived here? What if this is where we lived? Right there. These are other ponds with their own suns.
Not a single commercial plane has flown over Antarctica?
No, none, ever.
Whoa, why?
Because you can't fly over Antarctica. Look at the Earth. World Cup soccer. Okay? They were in Doha. They wanted to go back to Buenos Aires. They went to Rome to refuel. And then they went back there. Why didn't they just go here? Because if they did, there's no place to refuel out here. On a flat Earth, Doha, Rome, Buenos Aires. So here's an emergency. They were going from New York to Hawaii, right about here, and they said we have to land. So they went to Seattle, which is like 1,000 miles out of the way. They got there in record time. New York, Seattle, Hawaii.
Who's directing the airlines to construct these flight pathways?
NASA.
This cup that I'm seeing, it only exists when I create it. This table exists when I create it. Like in a virtual reality. In a virtual reality, I'm in Grand Theft Auto, I look over here and now I see a red Mustang. I look away, I don't see the red Mustang. And now there is no red Mustang. The red Mustang only existed when I looked, because it's a VR game. I only need it when I render it when I need it. I'm now rendering a cup. The cup that I rendered is no longer there. You might render your cup. You might say, well, no, Don, you're wrong. The cup is still there, I can see it. No, you're rendering your cup. And so you're not rendering my cup. I rendered my cup. So in the same thing with Grand Theft Auto, you might say, well, I see the red Mustang even if you're not looking, Don. Well, that's because in your headset, you're looking and you're rendering the red Mustang, but I'm not. And there is no red Mustang. If you look inside the supercomputer, there's no red Mustang there. The supercomputer that's running the game has no red Mustang.
What's the most rage-inducing customer request you remember?
You want me to answer that question?
Yeah, I want you to answer it then.
You want to repeat the question one more time before
What's the most rage-inducing customer request you remember?
It's when a customer came in and they requested to have everything cooked in a brand new skillet. I'm not exaggerating this at all. They wanted the skillet not to have any other smells, which you wash them right, you don't have to do that. But they requested to smell the pan. They requested that I cook their stuff in separate pans, basically. Put it on a plate, deconstruct it, and they wanted to watch me do it. I told them, you know the door you came in? That's the door you can leave.
Wow.
I mean, it was so bad. I was like, dude, man, I understand you got some issues in life, but I'm not going to be where you're going to, you know, I'm not stopping my procedures just to do this for you. Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
There's not a lot of discussion about Baal, Moloch. Where are people finding them?
The old saying is, if you look for the devil, he'll find you. The deity that was worshipped in Egypt, that the Pharaoh represented, is the deity named Atun, gods of the Gentiles or demons, Psalm 96:5. This was the great bisexual god, also known as the great matter. He begets children and spits them out of his mouth, and he can change genders and can allow others to change their genders. This goes back to ancient Egypt. He ingests his own seed and produces children out of his mouth, as opposed to God creating and begetting Adam and Eve. So you fast forward the Olympic ceremony, everybody was outraged because it was a mockery of the Last Supper. That was a representation of Dionysus.
I thought, what is the medication for? What is the diagnosis?
Bipolar depression.
There's no such thing as bipolar, gang. That's a gift from God. There's no such thing, I'm keeping it real, gang. No such thing as bipolar. Who told you was bipolar? And they gave you medication.
Doctors, I guess.
Come on, gang. Now, how did the medication make you feel when they gave you medication? Did you feel different? How did you feel?
There's been ups and downs. Like, it's not always bad. It's like, sometimes I forget how to feel things right. So, like, if I don't take it, a simple emotion is, like, completely overwhelming. I don't really know how to feel it. But then I take it, and it's like,
right.
I'm there.
Let me tell you what they're doing, right? Life, like, this whole thing is a simulation. They call it energy, but energy is actually feelings, right? And if you bipolar, you can connect to the energy feeling field. So, right, a lot of times your feelings be up and down, they be going crazy, a lot of shit make it react. That's because you're not grounding correctly, right? But when they gave you the medication, that disconnected you from the energy field to where you can't feel your feelings and you can't control the simulation, right? And you can't get these connections from God, right? Because everything that come to you and come in you be different connections from different sources. And the thing is, you can see all the universes at once, right? And it's kind of like crazy when they try to call you crazy because nothing's crazy about you, right? Because bipolar is a gift from God. You probably ain't know that. The doctors know that, They know that, but they ain't gonna tell you that, because they told you that, then they couldn't give you the medication to stop your gift. See, everything in life is about dumbing down your third eye. They don't want you to know. Like, you go to school, they're gonna tell you the world is matter, and then you're gonna look up, they're not lying, because the world is matter, but it's only part of the world, right? That's like the cover of the world. Underneath the world is a whole nother world, right? And that world's not matter at all. So what they say don't matter at all. The first thing from you going, all the energy going up and all the energy going down, you just up and down, up and down, up and down all day, right? They think it's crazy, right? But let me tell you this, the sun kind of like give you energy, the moon kind of like take it away, right? Inside of you, the right side of your brain and the left side of your brain is two different things. One's the sun, one's the moon, because one masculine, one feminine. The sun is masculine, the moon is feminine. So what I'm trying to tell you is this, that you have all that inside of you, and it's a gift, right? So what you should have done and what they should have told you to do, what they should have prescribed you was to take your shoes off, right? Take the rubber off and ground your feet in the grass, right? Because then you would have grounded all them universes, you would have got better. Not at that moment, 30 days from grounding in meditation, oh man, you see in the future, all your powers activated, right? They don't want you to activate your power.
The Simpsons, you know how the Simpsons like predict everything?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the perception of art imitates reality. And the CIA has an office in Hollywood, and Hollywood has an office in the CIA. Everything that you see in movies is actually
real.
It's real. Everything. It's actually a mirror flip, but they basically put it in the form of entertainment to confine your mentality with a form of entertainment. Because what is entertaining your mentality? Foolishness. They try to tell you it's fiction when basically it's really fact.
They say Superman is us.
Superman, when you get into the 9 noble gases, carbon, lithium, sulfur, helium, hydrogen, exon, radon, argon, and krypton. And krypton can only be found in the ecological systems of caves. But krypton, when it amalgamates with ether, the krypton of the crystal turns green. That is connected to our neurological functions, because we have crystals inside our brain, which is called magnetizing dendrites. And when it harmonizes with the pheromone of ether, that creates gamma radiation. Gamma radiation is the reason why Hulk is able to turn green, because the green energy in itself is connected to Osiris in ancient Kemetic spirituality. Osiris, a G-force in his genetic format, had to be green in order for him to get access to Hollow Earth. When you go deep inside the pyramids that lead to Hollow Earth, it operates on the megahertz frequencies of 111. That's the God frequency that basically eradicates parasites, because you have to have your physiology clean when you get access to Hollow Earth. The God of the Bible created the firmament. The firmament is what created the spiritual cutoff. The spiritual cutoff is also connected to the neurological functions of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Just like you have a firmament over the planet, you have a firmament over your brain. That stagnates the olfactory nerve and the hippocampus layer of the brain that also activates the Pithari gland. The Pithari gland is where you get your kinetic energy, levitation, clairvoyance, psychometry. Those are all your spiritual abilities that's been cut off by the firmament. But if you break open the firmament, all those abilities is going to come back, because it's going to activate the junk DNA. And that junk DNA is the activation of the X chromosome, which turns you into an X-man. Everything they say in the movies is actually us.
Just a reminder that tarantulas are known to kidnap frogs and keep them as pets. I wish I was joking. You see, normally tarantulas eat frogs, but scientists realize that sometimes when a tarantula lays eggs, instead, it will keep a frog as a guard frog to protect its eggs from things like predatory insects and ants. In return, the tarantula will keep the frog safe from predators and other tarantulas. And since the frog helped out the tarantula, once the eggs hatch, the tarantula will still keep the frog as its pet, or let him go and live his life. That's the coolest thing I've ever...
How come Pixar never made a movie out of it?
So seeing in the spirit.
Yeah.
What do you see?
It's a wide variety of things. So when I was... The starting point was kind of those shadows coming out of the corners, maybe. Some people see that a lot, or maybe they, like, you blink and then you're like, oh, there's something there, and then there's not. So I think it's important to talk about seeing in the spirit too. There's kind of, for me, there's 3 portions, okay? So there's like dreams and visions, like we've been talking about, right? That's definitely seeing in the spirit. There's stuff that's kind of floating around, right? Kind of like if you were on a computer moving around, like the mouse, like kind of floating around. And then there's stuff that's like, hey, I see that guy right there, right? So there's it's not just one or the other.
Pause for a second.
Yeah.
Dreams and visions are seeing in the spirit. I had in my mind that dreams and visions was a gift in and of itself. You're saying that falls under this discerning of spirits. So you believe
I do.
Dreams and visions are a form of seeing in the spirit.
I really do, because so for example, I was having a dream, because it translates together. So let me give you an example. I was having a dream and I was feeling this pressure on my chest. Like it felt like something was just pushing on me. It was pushing on me, and I was in my dream, like I was stuck on the ground and I couldn't get up. Okay, so it ended up kind of turning into maybe a little bit of a sleep paralysis situation. So I'm praying, and like the only thing I can come up with is like, Jesus save me, right? Call upon his name. So then Jesus beams down, the demons flew away, and then I felt this pressure off. But then I woke up out of the dream, and then I see them flying around in the bedroom, right? So the spirit is not just one or the other. I really do think it kind of interweaves itself in between normal life, dream life, visions and spirits, and the whole thing.
Yeah, I've heard other similar things like that. That's interesting. So it is all one. It's just where you see them.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so you were in 3 different modes. You were in dream mode. I think I saw something out of the corner of my eye. And there's homeboy right there.
There he is. He's looking at us.
So go ahead. Continue with that.
So for example, everybody thinks, right, I see him right there all the time, right? But that's not necessarily true. That happens a lot. So for example, we were getting craft stuff for a project at Michael's, and I'm literally standing there, and I just I could see this girl just super close to me, and I'm like, why is this lady standing right on top of me? And I look over at my wife. My wife just kind of shrugs. She didn't know what I was referring to. I'm just trying to get some help. And so I turned back, and it wasn't even I turned fully where the person would have been, and she wasn't there. Right, so I could see her, I could feel her, I had the goosebumps. I knew she was around, but she really wasn't there. She was a spirit in that area, right? So that was I knew it was there, kind of like you're there, but when in Star Wars where they slash through Obi-Wan and then he he turns into the spirit. That's kind of what it was like. So that's happened quite a few times. That's pretty consistent. And then there's also the side of seeing demons. They kind of a lot of them look like little gargoyles, right? Like on the old churches and all the stuff. I see a lot of those perched up in places. If I kind of walk into a room or a restaurant that maybe doesn't have a good vibe, kind of a lot of times I see them on top of the alcohol bottles, at the top overlooking the restaurant. That's super common. So that's one of them too. I got tons of examples, so you're gonna have to narrow me down.
Come on with it, man. This is really interesting. I want to know what people see when they see in the spirit. What percentage is demonic versus angelic?
A lot of it's demonic, and not demonic. It's scary at the start. You're like, man, that thing looks scary. A big reason I pray, think into Psalms. I pray to be a warrior for God, and I pray, and God, I think, has moved me into a spiritual warrior, a prayer warrior. And so when I see those demons, I pray over them and I cast them out. Whenever I see things that are not of God, I pray protection. I pray over the people. It's a consistent, I'm trying to get them out of there, right? And so that's a big portion of it too, that I go through. So that's pretty common.
Do you see angels?
Yeah. So I've seen 4 vivid angels in my life. So I've seen my guardian angel. I've seen my wife's. I've seen, there was an angel that I saw in Las Vegas. And then I had an experience in the hospital, not for myself, that I saw an angel as well.
So this isn't a every week, daily basis type thing. This is a rare occurrence that you see those. And then these little demonic things or big demonic things, whatever you see, those guys, is that also rare, or is that something you see
super common.
Daily?
Yeah, super common. And a lot of it is dominion over the place of like I was saying, when you go into somewhere, you're like, I don't know if I should be in here. That's where I see a lot of them. The angels are much more rare than that. I see my guardian angel. I pray with my guardian angel, and then the other ones are less common.
So you were hired by NASA not because of your knowledge in astronomy, just because of your talent at painting?
They enjoyed the way I painted things to make things look real, like my understanding of light. How I could take something that doesn't exist in reality. After a certain point, I surpassed needing photos, and I could basically construct things that don't exist.
To us, what happened between your steady job that you just described and...
It wasn't steady. It was on and off, and it was freelance.
Okay. And what happened between that period and now? What is the turning point that made you totally dissociate yourself from what you were working for?
Was about a year after I met some of the people I was working with over the phone. He was this consultant for the U.S. Defense Department. This guy was basically a friend of one of my superiors and a colleague. I think the conversation started turning around like GPS coordinates weren't working or something. Well, if he goes out that far, he ain't coming back. And I asked, like, what do you mean? Like, well, why wouldn't he come back if it's like if he can go back on his... Because GPS doesn't reach that far. It's because it's flat. And they started laughing. They all started laughing. A cement sort of plank floor of some sort. And he started drawing out the Earth, all the continents, exactly, but how they function, everything, physics, science, how everything we understand in movement of energy and objects in this new or hidden science, hidden from the public, how everything is caused by temperature. I thought they were fucking playing with me to see if they could convince me it was flat. What was crazy about the whole thing is that they were more laughing at me for not getting it. It never went back to it being a ball with these gentlemen. And then I started to scrutinize the actual images of the Earth they claim are photos. And it just started looking silly, like a cartoon. Like, why is the water so blue if it's reflecting the blue atmosphere, but I could still see the brownness of Africa? Wouldn't I be seeing Africa through the blue atmosphere? Like, why is the green and the brown of continents so clear with the blue of the water when the water of the oceans is just reflecting the blue atmosphere? And how come the whole thing being 3 parts water isn't reflecting the blackness of space? Like, I started seeing all these flaws. And the more and more I tried to prove this guy wrong, or just to find out if they were joking or pulling my leg, the more I realized they weren't joking.
And that's a wrap on this episode, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.